Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother Rustin, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And we've been wanting to do this for a little bit now, of watching the end of a game together, and it's getting to happen tonight. Tennessee just turned a double play to end the eighth inning with a little assistance from a not so fast runner down the first baseline there. A nice play, nice turn by Christian Moore. It'll be interesting if you're ahead of us. Don't spoil it for us. If we're seeing it before you are, sorry, because we'll probably talk about it. Rustin, what have been your thoughts so far on this game and just this regional as a whole?
I just don't think numbers ever lie in baseball. It's one of the things that you can always pretty much count on. You'll get the occasional, upset here and there, but when numbers are pretty drastically different, I just think it all plays out the way it's supposed to. And I used to coach against a guy who used to tell his players, it's good to win, but don't get too excited when you just do what you're supposed to do. And I feel like this weekend they've just done what they're supposed to do. I think I'll go back to what I said Thursday night. I still don't think this regional is very good. I think we've proven that everybody else is just average, and the bracket setters kind of got it right. The opposite bracket from us is definitely going to be, the true 16 seed, because Wake Forest got knocked out in 2. East Carolina is fighting for their life right now. They've got to win twice. I mean, it's very possible that we could play Evansville in a super regional. I mean, if that happens, it's a 2-game and done. Like, they're not going to compete with us. So, it's I think they've just done what they're supposed to do.
They are reviewing as we speak. They're reviewing that out call at first base. I'm pretty sure it's going to stand. Yeah, he's clearly out at second. They're showing a replay right now. That's closer than I thought it was. The angle they're showing right now, you can't really tell. A couple folks joining in with us here. HT14 said, hey, haven't been on the show for a while. I've gotten more into baseball since the last time I watched the show. It's they called him out at first, so it was a double play. It's definitely a fun time to be a Vols fan watching baseball, no doubt. Devin, welcome, Devin. He said, let's go play Evansville and head on to Omaha. Go Big Orange. I hope we get to play Evansville. East Carolina is currently beating them 12-6 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Evansville shocked everybody the first 2 days in Greenville. So we'll see what happens now that they're going to a deciding game 5 or whatever it is, or game 7 or whatever it is. Double elimination tournament, winner take all tomorrow, assuming that East Carolina doesn't blow a 6-run lead in 1 inning. But Evansville scored, I think, 17 runs against VCU. So they just destroyed VCU. Other games happening right now. Clemson is beating Coastal Carolina 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th. Florida State is about to eliminate UCF. They're up 12-4 in the heading into the top of the 8th. Let's see. Georgia Tech are tied at 5 in the top of the 9th. Let's see what else is happening. NC State, James Madison. NC State is beating James Madison 5-3 in the bottom of the 9th. If that happens, James Madison will be eliminated. So NC State's potentially about to win that regional. Florida State is definitely about to win their regional. If Clemson can hold off Coastal Carolina, Clemson will win that regional. Let's see. Or wait a second. I might be wrong about that one. Has Clemson lost yet?
No.
Okay. All right. So they're about to eliminate Coastal Carolina. LSU had a good performance tonight. They're up 8-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning against North Carolina. Kansas State is about to beat Southeast Missouri State. They're in the top of the 7th, which, shocker, Southeast Missouri eliminated Arkansas earlier today. That was bonkers, man. That was bonkers. Kentucky and Indiana State still a long way from being done. They're about to go to the top of the 6th. Kentucky's up 3-0. Same thing with Texas A&M and Louisiana. Texas A&M's up 1-0 in the bottom of the third. Oklahoma State, Florida is a 1-0 game in the top of the second, and Oregon and UC Santa Barbara just started. So currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 games happening as we speak. The one that's going to end first is probably Georgia. Well, maybe not, because somebody has to score. Probably the game that's going to end first is honestly Tennessee Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Devin said almost half of the SEC teams were eliminated today. Feels good to be one of the teams who have pretty much already punched their ticket to the Supers. Absolutely. This tournament has not been friendly to the SEC so far. HT14 said the beginning of this game got me scared, but now I'm confident that we'll win. Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if they lose at this point. They're up 6 runs. They only got to get 3 outs. So I think that Tennessee has punched their ticket to the Supers, which means that now all eyes turn to tomorrow night in Greenville, because East Carolina is most likely about to beat Evansville unless there's just a major implosion. They're up 12-6 heading into the top of the ninth. And so unless something crazy happens, they will be playing a deciding winner take all game tomorrow night. Rustin, what do you think about that matchup? Because I'm sure East Carolina is about at the limit of their pitching by now, but Evansville is probably hitting that limit today, because this will be their 3rd game. Tomorrow will be their 4th. So tomorrow will be Evansville's 4th game, East Carolina's 5th game. What do you think about that matchup tomorrow night?
Let me pull up those numbers one more time from Thursday night, because we actually had that. So East Carolina's 5th in the country in pitching. So they were right behind us. So, clearly they're going to have some depth left over. It may be a bullpen race on Monday, but they've got definitely more arms than Evansville. So, odds are, unless Evansville just shows up and kills the ball, could end up being a high-scoring game. Could be a game where it's just pretty much whoever can score the most wins. But East Carolina should have more arms left than Evansville. Would love to see Evansville. That'd make for a really, really easy super regional.
Yeah.
But East Carolina hasn't impressed. They have not done anything to be overly proud of this weekend. That regional has been really weak.
Zach, welcome, Zach. Good to have you, buddy. He said, "Let's go Vols. Knock on wood. We're winning the Natty. Do it for Tony V." I've got to be honest. My favorite part of the entire game today was Tony Vitello's interview.
Yep.
First of all, you got to love his reaction when Cal Stark hit the home run. I mean, he was into it every bit as much as any fan in that stadium was. It was fantastic. And it was perfect timing, because Ben McDonald had just asked him, let's talk about this environment. And then wham, and he throws his hands up and he goes, well, it's a lot of fun when you do that. That was just, and then his comment about Frank Anderson was hilarious as well. He forgot he was on TV there for a second.
Well, and kudos to the cameraman. I have no idea how he found Cal Stark's mother in the middle of all those people, but she had a daddy hat and a fur coat at that exact moment. Like, what are the odds?
And Carlos, Vamos Vols Carlos was there with her getting a Vamos Vols from her. That was great. Zach said, I'm going to at least one game in the Supers. That'd be awesome, man. That's going to be a hard ticket to get, no doubt. Zach said, Simo is a beast, that double play. Absolutely. It was a great turn. A little bit of help from a runner who wasn't as fast as usual.
The most impressive play he made was that play went going up the middle in the 4th or 5th inning.
No doubt.
Like, that was just otherworldly. Like, people don't understand the arm strength it took even to throw that one hop to first, off his back foot, falling away from first base from probably almost 100 feet away. Like, that was big time.
Yeah, kudos to Blake Burke for picking it as well at first. It was just a great play. That was probably Christian's best defensive plays made all season long, if we're being totally honest. That was a great play. Any concerns coming out of this regional, like Billy Amick's defense maybe? I don't know. Wish he had gotten that one on the first baseline. I do think it's interesting. The last two games, so Drew Beam yesterday and Xander Seacrest today, they both retired the first 7 hitters of the game, and then the 8-hole hitter is the one who got on base first. And you're like, oh man, there goes the perfect game in the third inning. But both of them started the game extremely strong. And man, kudos to Xander for having the guts and the toughness to, first of all, stand back up and walk after being nailed in the leg with that line drive.
I think they got it wrong. I don't think the line drive hurt him. I think it was his plant leg was underneath him, and when he twisted, it hyperextended and freaked him out. Because
I'm sure 100-mile-an-hour ball off the quad it tickles.
it does, but it doesn't keep you on the ground for that long. Like I think he was more worried about his other leg, because when you watch it back, he twists really funny and his cleat stays in the ground. It's like his whole body goes one direction, but his ankle stayed facing the other direction, and that's actually what flipped him over and down. And I think it scared him more than anything. If anybody's ever had that happen, when your cleat gets hung in the ground, it's terrifying. Like nothing feels right in that moment.
So Cannon Peebles pinch hit for the DH spot, and now you got Cal Stark up at the plate. Peebles walks, so you got runners on first and second, 1 out in the top of the ninth.
Yeah,
we'll see what Cal Stark can do here. Sam Hargrove, welcome, Sam. Good to have you, buddy. He said the second baseman for Southern Miss, pretty good player. Dude's made 2 really good defensive plays today. You could say 3, but he shouldn't have caught that ball down the right field line. He should have let the right fielder catch it.
The left fielder for Indiana.
All right, so there was a wild pitch just then. Ball kicked away from the catcher to the right a little bit. He came up. Both runners took off. He came up throwing to second, and the call was safe, but I think Cannon Peebles was actually out. So they're reviewing it. Immediately, the defensive player looked up at his bench and said, review that. So they're going to review now. The call was safe, and obviously that's incredibly important. But, I mean, at least from a cursory watching of it just then, he looked like he got him. Let's see. Here's what they're going to do a slow-mo here. You can't tell anything from that angle. No, he's safe. He was there. Yeah, you could tell. He started coming up on the slide even before he got him.
Yeah, he's popping up on the bag before he tags him.
Yeah.
He mentioned the second baseman for Southern Miss. I hope Tony Vitello has already identified which players are going to the Cape Cod League with the left fielder from Indiana, because that dude needs to be in the transfer portal and he needs to be in Knoxville next year.
Yeah, for real.
We need to figure out where he's playing this summer and load up his team with Vols and let them do a little recruiting.
Yeah, 100%.
That kid is a wasted talent in the Big Ten. Like, he needs to be in the SEC.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if he's at Indiana next year. Let's see. Chris, welcome, Chris. He said, what's the score? It's currently 9-3 in the top of the ninth. Tennessee has runners on second and third, even though that's under review, but it's going to stand. So Tennessee will have runners on second and third with 1 out. Cal Starks at the plate with a 1-1 count on him. Let's see. Zach said, let's give credit to Southern Miss player, 36-game hitting streak. I mean, dude, that's awesome. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Zach said Peebles was safe, but knowing the umps, they'll say he's out. They called him safe. How about that?
How about Ben McDonald in the second inning calling out the NCAA?
I thought the exact same thing.
They're kind of your employer, right? It was great.
I was shocked. I was like, I can't believe you just said that. That was wild.
For those of you who didn't see it, they were talking about bats and exit velocity. And out of nowhere, the NCAA caught a stray because Ben McDonald's like, well, we all know the NCAA doesn't do much of anything right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have an email in his inbox when he gets back into the hotel.
Oh, it's already there. It was there by the third inning.
Yeah, for sure. Sam said it looked like the ball glanced off him. It's bad when the ball squares up. Talking about when Xander got hit in the leg.
Yeah, but it got him. It got him in the hamstring, and let's just be real. Like pitchers do lots of leg work and have typically, I can attest because I still am cursed with this, have really big quads and thighs from all the leg work you do. So, and
That's a
typically,
humble flex there.
no, 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 it's not a good thing because when you stop playing, it all becomes fat.
Well, Cal
Um,
Stark may have just hit another home run.
he didn't May, he
He
did. It's
won. He
long
did.
gone.
That landed
Cleared
in
the
the
third
second level
deck.
of the porch. Yeah.
Um, No, your quads and thighs get really big, your butt gets really big, and then when you stop playing, it all turns into fat. But when you're playing, it's all really big muscle, and when you get hit there, you just don't feel it. Like it's not. That's why I think it was his other leg. I don't think it was where he got hit.
Zach said about Ben McDonald calling out the NCAA. He said somebody's got to speak up. I like it.
Man, that's a hanging slider, and Cal just sat on it. How about
man? Look at that. How about
How
that?
about Tony V? I love when Cal hit the home run. Tony immediately started politicking for him in the draft.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. Well, if he keeps having 2 home run games, he'll be
That was not
politicking for
second deck.
himself.
That cleared the third deck. He hit that thing out of the stadium.
So for those watching, that was a 3-run home run. Tennessee is now up 12-3 in the top of the ninth. Still 1 out. So Christian Moore up to the plate now. Nobody on base because Cal Stark just drove them all home. Zach, this is my favorite comment of the night right here, buddy. Zach said, I want to meet that kid that said, I hate LSU. Yeah, that was an awesome story. If you're not sure what Zach's talking about. So Matt Vick and Ben McDonald were talking about yesterday. They were at the park and there was a kid on the right field line who was decked out in Tennessee stuff. And they went walking up to him and Ben McDonald was joking around with him. And he said, hey man, what do you think about LSU? And the kid goes, I hate LSU. And then they were joking. And then apparently, I guess the kid's parents must have told him or something, but he realized who he was talking to. And they were like, what if we bring you an LSU jersey? Would you wear that? And he goes, or a Ben McDonald jersey. And he goes, I'd wear it around my house. I was like, that's a great line from a kid, man. That's awesome.
Well,
Sam said,
Tony followed up with it during his interview, refusing to say the word LSU.
Yeah.
Like he said, your school.
The place where you went to school. Southern Miss warming up the bus. Sam, you're right. They absolutely are. Sean, great question, buddy. Good to have you. He said, I'm a novice with baseball, but I've enjoyed watching it this year. Well, soak it in, buddy, because you may never see another team this good. This is incredible what we're seeing. He said, I'm just wondering, why is the shortstop position so critical on defense? I heard them talking about it on the cast, and I'm just wondering. Rustin, you want to answer that one, and then I'll chime in if
Yeah, sure.
I got anything extra to add.
It's actually really not the shortstop so much as it is just strong up the middle. When you're developing a roster in baseball, you want your catcher, your second baseman, your shortstop, and your center field to all be great athletes because you want to be really good defensively up the middle. Because those are the guys that typically have to run and move more than anybody. I know people are going, wait, catcher? Yeah, your catcher needs to be an athlete. Good catchers play all over the field. They're backing up everything. They're not just sitting back there all day. Your center fielder is typically your most athletic outfielder. Your shortstop and your second baseman have to cover a lot of territory, so they both need to be athletes. And your catcher needs to be able to back up everywhere all the time and needs to be a very active player as well. So it's more about being strong up the middle than having a great shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, you can consider like what his responsibilities are. He has to cover, right? So, you figure it's 90 feet from second to third. Billy Hammock's over there probably about 10 feet off the base, off the line. And he doesn't have a whole lot of time to move to his left. So that shortstop has to cover a minimum of, and then as the field goes out, that just the angle of it gets wider. So that shortstop from where he has to cover towards the left field line to the second base, extended out to center field. I mean, dude has to cover probably over 100 feet worth of range. I mean, that's a lot of space because anything, on shallow left field. Well, I mean, shoot, Dean Curley lines up in shallow left field.
Yeah.
He sets up in shallow left field because he's got a strong enough. And that's another thing. If you're playing shortstop, you got to have a strong enough arm to throw it, 120 feet across the diamond.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why it's such a critical position that, the dude has to have a great arm and be able to cover a lot of space, which is incredible that, Dean Curley is such a huge dude that, he's a heck of an athlete, no doubt. Zach said as long. Go ahead.
ESPN has made a lot of mistakes this weekend. Like,
Yeah,
I know they're covering teams they don't normally cover, but man, like their graphics have been so off. There's a dude on the mound for Southern Miss right now, and they give a close-up of him standing there warming up, and it says right-handed pitcher.
He's left-handed. Yep. There's definitely a left-handed pitcher on the mound right now for Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Zach said as long as Tony V will be there, they'll be in the running every year. I agree with that 100%. Zach said I'm going to miss Simone Burke next year. Absolutely, man. Anytime you lose the two leading home run hitters in your program's history, those are big losses. Those are big losses. By the way, East Carolina just scored 2 more runs, so now they're up 14-6. Sam makes a great point. He said the catcher also needs to be a psychologist. You are 100% correct.
Yep.
That catcher is pumping up that pitcher and letting him know that he can do no wrong, even when he's throwing multiple wild pitches.
Tony even mentioned that about Cal when he was politicking for him for Major League Baseball. He said, he does a fantastic job. And I love what he said. He said, does a fantastic job handling our pitchers and the umpires and Frank. So
he added in an extra
even
little
a psychologist
adjective
for Frank Anderson.
Yeah. My favorite part was when he was like crazy at Frank. I mean, crazy for Frank.
Yeah.
He realized he was on camera. He forgot that he was on camera there for a second. He was just having a fun conversation with Ben McDonald. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, I'm on TV. My bad. That was pretty funny. Elijah, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, what's up, Vol Bros? So right now, Tennessee has 2 outs, top of the 9th. Billy Amick is at the plate with 1-1 count on him. Tennessee's currently up 12-3. Clemson has also extended their lead. Last time we checked in on Clemson, they were up 7-5. Now they're up 12-5. So apparently they had a pretty strong bottom of the 8th. That they scored 5 runs on the bottom of the 8th, apparently. Florida State is still just kicking Central Florida's tail. They're up 12-4. LSU still got an 8-4 lead over North Carolina. East Carolina just scored again. So it's 15-6 now. It was 14, right? I think
so. It's now. Oklahoma has to beat Connecticut twice, and Connecticut just jumped on them for 2 runs in the first.
Yep. So that game just started too. And so did Oregon State UC Irvine. They just started. Let's see here. Zach said, how many home runs do we have this game? We were only 5 away. So we have actually tied the single season home run record in this game for Tennessee. The record overall is 30 home runs more than what we have right now. But that was also set in 1997 when they had the drop 5 bats that were,
death bats.
Yeah. So in my opinion, if you break the record, which we set the record because the number 2 actually was also a 1997 team. And so post death bats, Tennessee has the most home runs in a single season by a team. Elijah's exactly right. Cal Stark's home run broke it that he just hit. I just thought about that.
He just shattered it.
Exactly right, buddy. He said they tweeted out a little bit ago. We have 159 now. Yeah, you're exactly right. Cal Stark in that bottom of the top of the inning here, his home run broke the record. You're exact. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I didn't even think about that when it happened. I guess because we were live and I was thinking about this, but yeah, that's exactly right. So Tennessee now has the record. In my opinion, they have the record because they're using a different style bat than the 2 1997 teams that were ahead of them. And so, in my opinion, technically they're third, but really they're number 1.
Anything pre-BB Core bat is just a completely different game. Like they can't. They really need to take all the stats pre BB core and go, okay, these were the record holders then. Here's the record holders now, because it's just a totally different game. Like you can't compare them.
Absolutely.
It was interesting when Ben McDonald was ranting about the exit velocity on these bats. The reality is the bats haven't really changed. Like it's still the same BB core bat. The problem is the players are changing. The players are getting bigger and stronger. They've got better analytics. They're just physical freaks, and they're able to do things with the bat that previously players just didn't understand how to do. And pitchers are throwing way harder. Like, it was one thing when pitchers, it was a normal thing to see mid to high 80s at the Division I level. Now, if you don't throw 90, you don't make it. So everybody's throwing harder. Everybody's figured out how to throw harder, which creates more exit velocity. And the other thing he didn't say that he needed to say was the bat companies aren't on board with that. And the NCAA is not going to tell millions of bat owners, hey, listen, all those $400 bats you all just bought, yeah, they're all illegal. We're going to switch them all out. And the bat companies aren't going to go for that either. They're like, no way are we switching out all these bats. We'd lose millions.
Exactly.
So the only way anything's going to happen is if they announce it 3 years in advance and go, okay, in 2028, we're going to change out the bats. But that's the only way it's ever going to happen.
I think it's important to note that right now, Georgia Tech are in the bottom of the ninth, tied 5-all, and Georgia Tech has the winning run on second base with 1 out, looks like.
Two now.
Nope, 2 outs. So they got the winning run on second base with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. We'll see what happens here.
Walked him. Bases loaded,
Yep.
2 outs.
And looks like Georgia just switched pitchers. Bases loaded, 2 outs, winning run on third, bottom of the ninth. So the dude on second means nothing. It's just the guy on third.
Yeah. But Georgia Tech has to win twice. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Sam said, come on, Georgia Tech. Let's see. Elijah made a good point. He said, Charlie Taylor at bat. OMG. Yep. That was Charlie Taylor is currently, he got a pinch hitting appearance, but now it's a commercial. I looked away to check out what was going on at Georgia Tech. So I don't know what happened to Charlie. I looked away for a second. I'll have to go back and look.
How crazy is it that we're unloading the bench in a regional final?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for Charlie to be able to get it at bat. He came in to pinch hit, I believe for either Billy Emick or Dylan Drawling, one of the two. I was watching that Georgia Tech game, and apparently Charlie got out because we're pitching.
Yeah.
We're in the bottom of the ninth. Nate Snead is still on the mound. Tennessee's up 12-3, so all they got to do is get 3 outs before Southern Miss scores 9 runs. So I think they're going to be all right. Let's see here. Zach said, I wonder what Chase Burns is doing right now. He said he should have stayed in Knoxville.
What do you mean? He's watching this.
Yeah, exactly. And then Elijah said, imagine this team with Burns. No doubt, man. No, for sure.
Yeah, Charlie
Burns with a team player attitude would be a whole other story too.
Yeah, Charlie pinch hit for Dylan Drawling, and then Colby Backus entered in center field in his spot.
Gotcha.
He struck out swinging.
Sam said, "How about those Florida Gator girls? Are you talking about the baseball team, or did they do something in Florida that I'm just not aware of?"
He's talking about the College World Series tonight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it was painful the other day when I looked up. We were eating.
I'm not watching any of it. I'm intentionally boycotting it. I couldn't care less what happens.
It was painful when I saw Alabama take the field at the Women's College World Series. I was like, oh man, that was painful. Let's see what's going on here with Georgia. They still, I guess, dude's warming up still. I don't know if they haven't updated anything yet.
Yeah, he's getting loose.
Zach said Florida beat Alabama in the Women's College World Series. Let's see. And then Sam said it too. Elijah said Oklahoma's going to win either way, so it doesn't matter. He's probably right, actually. He's exactly right.
I have a son that plays baseball and a daughter that plays softball, and we were at the softball fields all day yesterday for a tournament, and everybody was talking about the College World Series, and I had blissful ignorance. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I stopped watching it after Super Regionals. Refused to turn it on.
All right, so Vols get the leadoff man out in the bottom of the ninth. Currently down 2-0 to the next hitter here. Tennessee's 2 outs away from hosting the Super Regionals. And I'm also refreshing my screen to see what happens with Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Nate Snead just walked a guy on a pitch that was 100% a strike. Like I have no. Sometimes these umpires, like I'm just sitting here watching it, going, I have no idea what you just saw. Like there's no way that was a ball.
I really wish that they would update what's going on with Georgia Tech.
I think he's still warming up. They haven't even changed the balls and strikes.
All right, so we had a fly out to left field for the second out of the inning. So Tennessee's got 2 outs, 1 out away from winning the Knoxville Regional and hosting a Super Regional. East Carolina has extended their lead on Evansville 19-6 now. Oh, Elijah said Georgia Tech's currently in a full count with bases low, winning run on third base. Woo, buddy. Sam said that pitch that should have been a strike. Was that a sympathy call? Maybe so. Maybe so. All right. Whoa, man. So Nate Snead almost just was decapitated. They hit a line drive right back up the middle. Nate Snead ducked for it, hit him in the head. They're showing a replay of it now. Oh, actually, the ball hit the ground and then almost hit him in the head.
It bounced. We had one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen happen today in a game. One of my hitters check swung, and the ball just kept running in on him, and it hit literally the knob. And because he was check swung like this, it hit the knob, ricocheted straight. Somehow he caught it square, bounced straight out to the pitcher for a ground out. Never seen that happen before.
And there it is. Tennessee beats Southern Miss on a ground ball to Christian Moore, which that's fitting that he got to end it. Tennessee wins the Knoxville Regional, and they advance to host a Super Regional this upcoming Friday. And it'll be the winner of whoever wins, because, I mean, the game technically isn't over yet with East Carolina and Evansville, but East Carolina's up 19-6 right now. So they're probably going to be playing tomorrow night for a winner-take-all situation. So whoever wins that game will be coming to Knoxville on Friday.
So what's interesting, though, is clearly Evansville knows who they're going to throw tomorrow, and they're just tanking this one. Like, they're not throwing anybody out there to try to get outs. They're just saving what they have and going, you can beat us by as much as you want to, which honestly might be a good thing. That tells me Evansville has 1 or 2 guys that they're like, we're going to throw these 2, and they got tomorrow, and we're not wasting anything on today.
Elijah let us know.
Yeah, they grounded out to go into extras.
Elijah said it was an amazing defensive play. Elijah, you were like 2 minutes ahead of ESPN, NCAA.com, man. So good, kudos to you, man. Good job. Let's see. Elijah said Vols are supers bound. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Zach asked, who is the probable starter? Who are you referring to, Zach? Let us know in the comments which team you're referring to. Man, that is so exciting. Tennessee beat Southern Miss 12-3. So I mean, when you think about the 3 games, I was watching. Zach Elijah said, "My apologies. I'm on YouTube too. Don't apologize. We appreciate it. You let us know what happened." I was watching YouTube TV on the Vols on YouTube TV, so that's why I wasn't over there. So the SEC has at least one team in the Super Regionals. Zach said this Friday for Tennessee, who's the probable starter, it'll be Stamos.
Yeah, they'll keep their exact same rotation. They're on weekend rotation time at this point. They're not going to change anything.
Yeah, you'll see Stamos and Causey on Friday. Saturday you'll see Drew Beam, and if necessary, Sunday you'll see who we saw today. You'll see Xander Sechrist start the game, and then Nate Snead come in. Elijah said we completely dominated this regional. You're exactly right, dude. You're exactly right. They let's see, they won. I'm trying to remember all 3 scores. They beat. Oh goodness, now my memory's like tanking on me here. It was 12-3. It was 12-3 today, but it was also 9-3.
It was 9-3, 12-6, and then today
9-3, 12-6. There you go. So they start off beating Northern Kentucky 9-3. They beat Indiana yesterday 12-6, and they beat Southern Miss today. Beat all 3 teams in the regional.
Yeah.
12-3, and man, they dominated it. You're exactly right. They dominated that regional. But you know what? That's a great thing if you're a Tennessee fan, because that's what should have happened. That is a number 1 team coming out and showing the world we are the number 1 team. That was very impressive what Tennessee did in that regional. Sam said Kentucky, so I'm guessing Kentucky is now, they've finished that game, if I had to guess. Well, they're still playing. They're in the top of the 7th against Indiana State. They're up 3-0. Let's see. Elijah said, looking at how other regionals went with upsets makes me really confident about it too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, Arkansas's gone. Mississippi State is gone. Like, I think they just, their game's final. Or is it? Now I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Virginia beat them 9-2. So Virginia is in the Super Regionals. Tennessee is in the Super Regionals. NC State is in the Super Regionals. Florida State is in the Super Regionals. So you got 4 teams that are now in the Super Regionals.
LSU Carolina has a one-and-done game tomorrow.
Yep.
Oklahoma's in the Super. No, Oklahoma's got to beat UConn twice.
So I think Clemson is now in the Super Regionals.
Yeah.
Tennessee Junior said, "Go Big Orange." Absolutely. Zach said, "Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be." Absolutely. Home sweet home to me, baby. Absolutely. So the games that are still happening.
In this regional, we outscored our opponents 33-12 and hit 12 home runs. We hit as many home runs as our opponents scored runs.
That's pretty dang good.
Let me say that again. We hit as many home runs as our opponents scored runs. And yesterday, we faced one of the top pitchers in America and knocked him off the mound in the 3rd inning.
It's hard to argue with the results from this regional. Elijah said, "That's insane. Like, actually mind-boggling." You're right, man. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
It defies all statistical odds. Like that, at this level of play, at this time of year, those numbers should never be possible.
Elijah made a good point. He said UNC LSU tomorrow is going to be an incredible game. Yes, sure will. Absolutely. Zach said, "So let me ask you something. As fans, do you want SEC teams to win, or do you care?" So I have an answer for that.
Go ahead.
So I'm very conflicted about that. So Zach said, do you want SEC teams to win or not? So here's the deal. Actually, yes, I do, because that allows Tony Vitello to walk into somebody's living room and say, come play for the best conference, best team in the best conference in the country. He can say every day in and day out, you're going to be playing the best teams in the country in the SEC. But on days like this, when the SEC entered this tournament with 11 teams, and how many are left? Georgia, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Florida is hanging on by a thread. So that's 5. LSU's remaining. They got a winner take out game all tomorrow. So almost half of the teams that entered this tournament from the SEC are now gone. And I can guarantee you that other coaches are going to be walking into other people's living rooms saying, the SEC is not the best team in the country or best conference in the country. Look what happened. I mean, they enter the regionals with 11 teams, and half of them are gone after the regional round. No SEC team was in the same regional, so it was possible for all 11 teams to advance. And right now, realistically, 4, maybe 5 of them are going to advance. So I don't know. I think that it's helpful for Tennessee's recruiting to say we're the best team and the best conference in the country. Come play for us and to get the best guys. But that's just me. Also, at the same time, I really don't ever want to see Florida win ever. So that's a inner turmoil that I have. Really, any team but Florida, and I'd be somewhat okay with. I just don't want Florida to win. What about you, Rustin?
I have the exact opposite reaction. I want the 7 teams with the weakest, least depth pitching staff to make the College World Series. I want to go out there and smoke every one of them because we've got more pitching than all of them, and then sit in living rooms and say, come play for the national champions. And couldn't care less about the rest of the conference. I think the other thing that plays into that is the Pac-12's dead. So you don't have to recruit against them anymore. That's why we're getting so many kids out of California. The ACC's falling apart at the seams. Clemson and Florida State, if they have an out, they'll come to the SEC as fast as they possibly can. The Big Ten sucks in baseball. They're awful. And the Big 12 is average. So I think the SEC is just organically always going to be the best conference in America. So I'm not worried about that. I want to win a national championship and let Tony sit in houses with a big ring on his finger, and that'll say enough.
For sure. Elijah said, I knew I'd see a team hit more home runs than Tennessee did in 2022, but I didn't expect it to be UT again 2 years later. Tony V has built a powerhouse. No doubt, man. No doubt.
Can you imagine what's going to happen in the transfer portal this year? I mean, there's going to be, when they look at the guys that transferred in this year and how well they all bonded. I mean, even Cannon Peebles. Like, Cannon Peebles has every reason to be furious right now. He was freshman All-ACC, freshman All-American. Like, this was his job. And Cal Stark just beat him out. And he's accepted that. And next year he'll be the guy. But he has accepted that. And
let's be clear, NC State, he came from NC State, which just won their regional tonight. He wasn't coming from like some no-name program.
Yeah. So next year he'll be the guy. But, when you can point to the way this team came together, and then also the fact that preseason, everybody was picking them to be pretty good, just kind of okay. And here we are once again talking about another 50-win season and number 1 team in America by a lot. And, if you're a kid that's looking to play for the best and you've got a chance to go in the portal, Tennessee's the first phone call you make.
Yep. Tennessee Junior said, or Tennessee JR, I'm not sure if it's JR or Junior. Might be initials. I don't know. He said he doesn't care about the rest of SEC. They all can lose. I'm paraphrasing what he said. Let's see. Elijah said Georgia Tech's choking hard. Georgia Tech is now down.
Yep.
Georgia is taking a 1-run lead in the top of the 10th.
And they've got runners on second and third with no outs.
Elijah said Tony already gets the best guys. LOL. It'll just add to the already amazing recruiting for sure.
That's the other thing. It's not just the portal. We've also got a whole bench of freshmen that are just absolute studs, and
that we got to keep from entering the portal.
But they're sitting there watching guys like Xander Sechrist who wait their turn for 3 years. Then all of a sudden, here they are on a national stage. They're watching guys like Cal Stark who develop over time, and now here's Tony Vitello on national television politicking for him in the draft in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was huge. That was a huge recruiting move, because kids are going to see that and be like, "Dang, my coach will, go to bat for me on national TV during the game." Right. I mean, like that's huge, man. That was huge. Zach said, I don't want Georgia to win at all. I can't stand them or Alabama. Sam said, any team but Bama, Kentucky, Florida, Vandy, etc. And Sam said, Cal Stark essentially made Cannon accept that backup role. Absolutely.
But the portal's open. Like, some of these guys could already be in the portal, and they're not. And Cannon Peebles, he would have been the number one option to be in the portal on day one. I think I told you there was a relief pitcher at Oklahoma who has thrown a decent amount, who right before the regional started entered the portal. And it was like, timing's not great, dude.
I couldn't believe he did that. I was actually just about to talk about that when you were talking about the portal. I was shocked. The dude's team is still playing, and he quit on them.
They're hosting a regional. He's on the roster. He's in the dugout right now. They throw him fairly consistently, and he's like, I'm not waiting on this thing to be over with.
Yep. Sam said, I think these ninth inning substitutions are a part of keeping these freshmen. No doubt. Zach said, not literally go to bat for them. Tony Vitello said himself he stinks at hitting. Yeah, that was appropriate to use the go to bat for him reference in a baseball show. Out of the 504 people watching right now, we truly appreciate you guys watching. We got 3 different platforms going: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can always find us, or X, excuse me, whatever. You can always find us at the Vol Bros at all those places, and thevolbros.com. Just to recap real quick what's going on around the country. Georgia is currently beating Georgia Tech 6-5 in the top of the 10th inning. Kansas State is just a couple outs away from beating Southeast Missouri State. They're up 7-2 in the top of the 9th. And all Kansas State has to do is just finish this half inning. So Kansas State's about to advance to a super regional. And remember, that's a Kansas State team that Tennessee obliterated earlier this year. So that's proving to be an even more impressive win now. Kentucky has actually extended their lead. They were up 3-0. Now they're up 5-0 over Indiana State. Indiana State does have to beat Kentucky twice. And so if Kentucky wins this game, Kentucky advances.
Texas A&M starting to pull away from Louisiana.
Tennessee Junior said 400 people watching it for baseball says a freaking ton about UT sports and our crazy awesome fan base. No doubt, man. Yeah, we got 481 people on X watching, 25 on YouTube right now for a total of 506. So we appreciate all you watching so much. Seriously. And he said it's Junior, by the way. Thanks, bro. Hey, I appreciate it. I won't forget now. I got it now. Now I know. I appreciate it. Let's see. Zach said, I'm a little disappointed though. Where is Rustin's name? Not cool. No cool name tonight.
Couldn't come up with anything. My brain was shot.
Texas A&M has extended their lead over Louisiana. They're now up 6-1 in the bottom of the 5th. So if Texas A&M wins that game, they eliminate Louisiana. Texas A&M advances. Florida has just tied it with Oklahoma State. They're now tied 1 apiece in the bottom of the 4th. Let's see. West Virginia has now taken that. Grand Canyon was beaten West Virginia 3-2. West Virginia just took the lead back from them in the top of the 2nd, 5-3. So it's already 5-3 in the top of the 2nd. There's a lot of offense going on in that one. Grand Canyon does have to beat West Virginia twice. and that is actually the 3 and 4 seeds in that regional. So the 1 and 2 seeds have been eliminated. So West Virginia, if they win tonight, they advance. Oregon, it has a 1-run lead over UC Santa Barbara. Oregon is in the driver's seat in that regional. Santa Barbara has to beat them twice. UC Irvine has a 1-run lead over Oregon State right now in the top of the second inning, 4-3. And UConn has taken a 1-run lead over Oklahoma in the bottom of the second. They're now at 2-1. Or no, I guess Oklahoma pulled within 1. So a lot of baseball still happening all over the country. There's still 9 games happening right now. Let's see. Elijah said the atmosphere at Lindsey Nelson Stadium next week is going to be wild, no doubt, man. And you know what? Kudos to Tennessee fans, because back-to-back days, the opposing team in their post-game press conference mentioned the Tennessee fans and how electric the stadium was. So kudos to the Tennessee fans. Vol Nation, man, is the best. They're just the best, no doubt about it. Elijah said we need Evansville to win tomorrow. No doubt. That would be awesome. That would be fantastic. I'd much rather play Evansville than East Carolina. But based on what we saw this weekend, both teams are certainly beatable, and Tennessee should win that Super Regional next weekend. Sam said, wonder if bigger stadiums and Tony Vitale and TV will make baseball a profitable sport. I mean,
it already is.
Yeah.
Like they are raking it in right now.
I mean, last night, I think the price to get in the door was over $200 today. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
They were selling general admission tickets today for $400. You're going to go stand for $400? Like, that blows my mind.
All right. So if that's the case, and there were 5,600 people there.
No, 65. They announced it. It was over 6,500.
All right. So 6,500. All right. Everybody check this out. I'm about to do math super fast. 60 times 4 would be 240 plus another 20. So that's 260. All right. And then let's add the zeros on there. Hang on. I got it. I'm thinking that's a total of 6 zeros, maybe.
Yep. 5
zeros. So $260,000 or $260,000.
$2.6 million.
$2.6 million. Yeah, $2,600,000.
Now, they probably didn't average $400 a ticket because some of those people bought them well in advance. Yeah. That's what they were going for today. But again, let's say they averaged $100 a ticket. That's $650,000 for one game.
Yep. And there were 7 or 6 games played there this weekend. Now, all of them didn't bring in that much money, but I mean, it's incredible that they can turn that on a game. And Tony even mentioned that in the mid-game interview there. Sam said it's going to be exciting to see what the stadium looks like next year. I totally agree. Yep. 100%. It's going to look totally different. Like the field, the perspective I'm thinking of is when you see on TV and they're like from the behind the center field wall looking back at the field, and it shows like right now you can see the second tier kind of stop. That's just going to be extended out. It's going to look awesome, dude. It's going to look amazing. Elijah said Georgia's now up 8-5. He's exactly right.
It's also gonna create that hornet's nest atmosphere that Tony wants, because the way they're adding more seating, it's gonna focus the sound even more onto the field, and it's gonna feel like if you're an opposing team, it's gonna feel like you're surrounded. I mean, it's gonna be quite the atmosphere.
It's gonna be awesome. Zach said $272 for a super regional ticket. I'm looking right now. He said I want to go, but $500 for 2 tickets. That's tough. Yeah, for real, man. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Especially when my couch is free.
Yep. And that's one reason why they're making those stadium upgrades, try to make the in stadium experience, just like they did in England, trying to make the in-game experience compete with a couch that's free. That's every athletic director's main competition right now is living rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that man cave that dude on Twitter, like that thing's gotten all over Twitter. The little tour of the man cave, the Tennessee man cave that guy had. That thing's incredible. If you hadn't seen it, just go search Tennessee man cave on Twitter. It's incredible. Rebecca said Little Nealon. Absolutely. That's what it's going to be like for sure. Elijah said, "Oh, to be rich." Absolutely, man. Totally agree. Totally agree. So Georgia is now in the bottom of the 10th. They're still up by 3 runs. If they win this, then they advance. So that would be another SEC team that has advanced to a super regional. Kentucky is now on the top of the 8, still with a 5-0 lead over Indiana State. Let's see. Sam said we are looking for opposing pitchers to feel claustrophobic. Okay, now I'm going to say this. That is a fantastic point. And what Rustin mentioned earlier about the kid from Indiana yesterday, it was 100% noticeable that Tennessee's fans were getting in his head. I mean, you could hear the fans get so loud in the second inning when they ran guys down to the bullpen to start throwing. Tennessee's fans got so loud at that point. I was like, dude, that's awesome. They were awesome. Zach said he's been to 2 Tennessee games. $25 was the price for those tickets. Absolutely, man. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Oregon State and UC Irvine are now tied for a piece. Florida and Oklahoma State are still tied.
The other thing about Tennessee fans, especially baseball fans, they've gotten really good at heckling. And the teams that have really good home field advantages have really good hecklers in baseball. Like I still remember teams we played that stood out because of the fans and how well they did their research and knew us and called us by name. I told Evan about this. Northern Kentucky's best player, some of you may have seen this online. Northern Kentucky's best player was engaged and the girl broke it off with him. And somehow the Rocky Top Rowdies were all over this dude's Instagram and apparently his ex-fiance's Instagram, figured out that she had broken it off with him, figured out she was at the game, and during the game were yelling stuff at him and her about her to get in his head. Which I'm sorry, that is next level heckling right there. Like that is impressive.
Zach, I'm not sure what you're talking about, buddy. You said like that guy in the stand on the not third out. LOL.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what you're talking about when they balked and everybody on Southern Miss's team thought it was a third out and they all start trotting out the field. And I think that's what Zach may be talking about. Elijah said, I don't know, man, seems like a little stalkerish. I love it.
So I'll tell you a great story from when I was playing. We played a school in West Virginia, and their student section was known for just being amazing hecklers. And they got online, got our roster, and when we walked in for batting practice, they were already there in the bleachers by themselves and knew all of us by name. They had memorized the roster. They knew our names. They knew our numbers. And so when we walked out there in our BP jerseys, they were yelling at us 3 hours before the game by name. And so the game starts, and I was the Friday night starter, and I'm throwing against them, and they are just on me. I mean, they are calling me every name under the sun. It is merciless. And to this day, every guy I've ever played with talks about this because it was one of the greatest heckle jobs I've ever seen in my life. All of a sudden, one dude in the student section stands up and screams at the rest of the student section, "I'm sick of you all. I'm so tired of this. I don't know why you all have to be this way." And then he turns around and looks at me on the mound and goes, "Rustin, I'm with you." And he turns and walks to the opposite side of the stadium. And he sits in the opposite side of the stadium by himself And while the student section screams all these obscenities and everything else at me, he's in the other end of the stadium going, "It's okay. We're all right. It's me and you, just us." One of the greatest heckle jobs I've ever seen anywhere ever.
And you remember it. Like, that's the thing. Like, you obviously noticed it. Yeah.
Oh, we all did. Our whole roster, like, we're in the dugout going, "I've never seen anybody do this before. This is one of the coolest things ever."
Yeah, Tennessee Junior said that's awesome. Elijah said that's amazing.
It was great.
So just so everybody knows, East Carolina, it is official. They did end up beating Evansville. The game is over now. They've won it 19-6. So there will be a deciding game tomorrow night at East Carolina, and East Carolina will get to be the home team tomorrow night. So they'll play a winner take all game tomorrow night. Evansville and East Carolina will be the third time those teams have played each other this weekend. Those two teams right there. So we'll see what happens. Elijah said Georgia Tech has runners on first and second, no outs. Got something brewing. So they do have to score 3 runs because they're down 3.
But the tying runs at the plate with no outs.
Tying runs at the plate.
Georgia and Georgia Tech just do not want to end this series. They want to play all night.
Let's see here. Other games going on right now. UConn has extended their lead to 3-1 over Oklahoma, and Oregon State has taken the lead 5-4 against UC Irvine. Elijah's calling the shot, not his shot, but other people's shot. Is calling it now? 3-run bomb incoming. That would be incredible, dude. That'd be incredible. The NCAA selection committee is getting their money's worth out of that Georgia regional right now, because this is what they wanted. They wanted Georgia and Georgia Tech in the championship, and they're getting their money's worth out of it.
They also wanted Texas and Texas A&M at the A&M regional, and they did not get that.
Yeah, for real. Sam said, imagine how many home runs we would have without the mercy rule all season long. Absolutely. That's a great point. That's a great point. Zach's cheering for Georgia Tech. Kentucky is still holding a lead of 5-0 over Indiana State. They're now in the bottom of the 8th. So Kentucky's 6 outs away from beating Indiana State and advancing. Texas A&M still winning 6-1 over Louisiana. Looks like everybody else's scores are still the same. Elijah said, I like how there's no mercy rule in the tournament. Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially if you're the losing team, because you always got a chance until that last out. You always got a chance. Well,
I retweeted it today, but I think we need to mention it. The women's crew team finished the season 3rd nationally today. They finished 3rd at the NCAA tournament, which is their highest finish ever.
I mean, everything's cool. It's awesome, man. Absolutely, in everything's cool. Well, so our next live show will be Thursday night as we look ahead to the Super Regionals. I was going to say it's looking like, but we can't say that because we have no idea. Tomorrow night, all eyes on anybody wearing Tennessee orange will be watching the Greenville Regional tomorrow night to see who Tennessee plays in the Super Regional. Tennessee will be hosting the Super Regional. There is no doubt about that. Like last year where there was controversy, that was still crazy. But
unless they put it on ESPN Plus, in which case you got to have a subscription.
But it will be in Knoxville. There is no doubt about that this year, like last year. So Tennessee gets to host the winner of East Carolina and Evansville tomorrow night. Go Evansville. I don't even know what their mascot is, but whatever that mascot is, go those.
Aren't they the Aces? Aren't they the
I have no idea.
Aces?
If so, that's cool. Hopefully they have their ace throwing tomorrow night.
Yeah. They're the Aces, and they have the creepiest mascot costume ever, and he's literally called Ace Purple. I don't
Nice.
know why. I don't know why. I mean, they're technically the Evansville Purple Aces, but I don't know why they called their mascot Ace Purple. He's a really creepy Quaker, and he's all dressed. I'm serious, and he's all dressed in purple, and it's just kind of weird looking. Josh
All right, hang
Mancuso should
on.
absolutely do a video.
I'm finding it so that I can show.
Yeah, you need to show Ace Purple to everyone. He's the creepiest mascot in America.
Oh, apparently there's a minor league team in Evansville as well. They're the Otters. So hang on, let me find the Evansville University, or is it University of Evansville?
Evansville University.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen so everybody can see Evansville Purple Aces mascot.
Ace Purple.
Ace Purple.
I mean, you can literally hear the Josh Mancuso video writing itself. Like, hey, we're gonna be the Purple Aces. What should we call our mascot? Ace Purple. You just flip it around. All right, click on that second image there. Blow that thing up. This is what you want running around your stadium with your children right here. I'm sure that's well received by 4 and 5 year olds everywhere.
All right, here's a little bit bigger image of it.
There's Mr. Ace Purple.
He's rocking those pinstripes though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with Zach. Zach said he kind of looks like a Virginia Cavalier mascot, but purple. I agree.
With a really mean scowl. Like he's clearly angry. He's probably angry about his name. He's like, seriously, Ace Purple? That's the best thing you could come up with?
Well, I hope he's in Knoxville on Friday. If he's in Knoxville and you're there, please get your picture made with Ace Purple and tweet it at us, please. We will retweet the hound out of that.
Georgia Tech now has bases loaded, no outs.
So Elijah liked my "Go Those" comment. Those might be better than Purple Aces. Yeah. But that might be actually a better mascot. Elijah, I appreciate you keeping us posted on this, man. But I agree with Zach. It kind of looks like Virginia Cavalier, but purple. Mr. Jones, welcome, buddy. He said, "You think Chase Burns regrets leaving?" 100%. I do. Absolutely. I mean, there's no way to know, but if I had to guess, yeah, I'd say yeah.
How could he not? I mean, he got bad advice. He went to a school that he thought was going to make him better. They really didn't. Like, they didn't do anything other than just use him on a,
and they underachieved way.
Yeah, their season ended early. For the last month, they've been a roller coaster. They've been up and down.
And the reason that they were ranked so highly preseason was because they've got 3 of the top 10 draft prospects in the country on their team. Like that was one of the things that, well, I mean, as we all saw, the ESPN graphics were notoriously off this weekend, but one of the graphics that they showed during the first day of the Friday game was that Wake Forest had 3 of the top 10 draft prospects or something like that. So Zach is correct. Chase Burns got burned. He did, no doubt about it, man.
Georgia just struck out Drew Burress, so now it's bases loaded, 1 out. That was a big strikeout. Drew Burress is a great hitter.
That means that the tying run is on first, and the winning run is at the plate in that game. Let's see. Zach said Wake Forest was good last year, but never looked good this year. They 100% underperformed this year. Mr. Jones said they were highly ranked from past success. Sam said, great example of why you shouldn't leave. We should also have Tyler Barron. I mean, that's a fair point.
Oh, did you see the report out of Louisville about Tyler Barron and Wesley Walker?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, there's no love lost there.
So Oklahoma has now tied it against UConn in the third inning. They're tied 3-3 in the third. West Virginia has extended their lead to 5-3 over Grand Canyon. Zach, what do you mean, buddy? He said, answer me this. Who's number one? Are you talking about that's why Chase Burns regrets leaving because we're the number one team?
Probably.
I bet that's what he means. Elijah said Georgia Tech sacrifice fly, runners on first and second, 2 outs. So if Georgia gets one more out, they advance to the Supers. Yeah, Zach said that's what he was talking about. So by the way, Kansas State, that game is officially over now. They won. So Kansas State has advanced to a super regional. Let's see. So the teams who have currently advanced to super regionals are Tennessee, Kansas State, Virginia, NC State, Florida State, Clemson, and did you see Santa Barbara? No, I think they still have one more game. Yeah, they're playing right now. Them and Oregon are playing right now. Yeah.
They're not done.
So
Texas A&M will be advancing here in the next little bit.
Yep. So that means that let's see. All right. So Clemson, Florida State, NC State, Virginia, Tennessee, Kansas State. 6 teams have now advanced. There are at least 2 Monday deciding games tomorrow. One is LSU, North Carolina. One is East Carolina, Evansville. We'll see what happens with these other 8 games that are still happening right now. So of half the games from today, 6 have clinched berths. 2 have secured deciding games tomorrow night. Elijah said
Georgia Tech grounded out. Yep. So Georgia advances.
So there's 7. There's the 7th team to advance. All right. So that means that of the teams that are advancing from the SEC, it's Tennessee and Georgia so far. That's it. They're the only 2 teams who have advanced to a.
Kentucky's about to end it. They're 3 outs away from being there.
Kentucky and Texas A&M.
Yeah, they're both going to be in. And honestly, you give me LSU and North Carolina in a 1-game shootout, I'm taking LSU every day of the week. So I would be very surprised if they're not there.
Let's see here. Some of the comments that came through. Tom, welcome, Tom. Good to have you, buddy. He said, go figure, how do they decide the home team for the tournament? Tennessee, number 1. I believe they were always the away team. Great question. All right. So last night, me and Rustin and my dad.
They're stupid.
That's basically, yes. That is the most convoluted rule system in the history of rules. Because last night I was sitting there watching Tennessee be the away team, and I was watching Oregon State be the away team, but there was another number 1 seed who was the home team in theirs, and I can't remember which one it was now. But I was like, why are these 2 teams having to be the away team, but that team gets to be the home team? And so I looked it up, and here are the rules for the regional round of who's the home team. In the regional round 1, the higher seeded team is the home team, which is why Tennessee was the home team on Friday. From the second round onward, there's a 4-step process. The next step is whichever team has been the home team the fewer amount of times, they get to be the home team. So, like, for example, when Tennessee played Indiana, that was both of their second game of the tournament on Saturday, last night. Well, Indiana was the visiting team against Southern Miss. And so Indiana, at that point, had not gotten to be a home team yet. So they got to be home team. Tennessee had to be away. All right. So that's the second step. The third step is if both teams have been the home team the same amount of times during the regional, then whichever team has been the away team more times, they get to be the home team. The fourth step is if both teams have been the home team and the away team the same amount of times, then if they have previously played each other in the tournament, whoever was the away team that time, they get to be the home team. And then if that still didn't work out, the tiebreaker was if both teams have been the home team and the away team the same amount of times and they haven't played each other yet in the tournament, it's a coin flip who gets to be the home team. So it's the most convoluted thing. You should just let the higher seeded team be the whole team, in my opinion.
At my 10-year-old daughter's softball tournaments, we play pool play. And then when pool play's over, they seed everybody. And the first question every umpire asks at home plate is, who's the higher seed? Oh, you're the home team. My 12-year-old baseball team, we play pool play. After pool play, they seed everybody. First question at home plate, who's the higher seeded team? Okay, you're home team. Why the NCAA can't figure that out is mind-blowing to me.
Yep.
Like, what is the point of being the number one seed if you have to trade away being the home team in your own stadium? Like,
yep,
it makes zero sense.
Totally agree. You've earned the right to be the home team in that situation. So they should be allowed to be the home team. But that's what's crazy. You know, I was texting Rustin and our dad last night, and, you know, when I knew based on those rules that Indiana was going to be the home team against Southern Miss. All right. Well, if Tennessee had, if Indiana had beaten Southern Miss, Tennessee would have been the home team tonight because they would have been the home team fewer times than Indiana was, because Indiana was the home team against us. Then they were the home team against Southern Miss. We had only been the home team one time. So if Southern Miss, or if Indiana had beat Southern Miss, we would have been the home team tonight.
Want me to make it even dumber? In the NCAA basketball tournament, do you know how they know who wears the white uniform?
Go ahead.
Higher seed always wears the white uniform. What is the white uniform synonymous with? Home team. So why is this complicated? Like it, and it's not just it's not just about Tennessee. It's not just about the number one team. Like when 2 played 3, 2 should always be the higher seed. If 4 were to upset and played 2, 2 should be the higher seed and home team. Like, this isn't hard. And somehow we create an entire system to try to be fair. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't fair when we won 50 games and Northern Kentucky won 30. So that's just stupid.
Good point. The reason that Tennessee ended up being the away team against Southern Miss was because both teams had been the home team one time. Tennessee was the home team and Southern Miss was the home team first round. When Southern Miss had to play Northern Kentucky, Southern Miss was the away team. When they had to play Indiana, Southern Miss was the away team. So since both teams had been the home team one time, Southern Miss had been the away team more times than Tennessee because they had been the away team twice. Tennessee had only been the away team once. So that's why Southern Miss got to be home team tonight. It's stupid. They should just say, who's the higher seed? Just like Rustin said, who's the higher seed? They get to be home team.
Why does it take us more than one sentence to determine who the home team is? Like that makes
great
no
question.
sense.
Great question. Great question. Let's see. Sam, in reference to Tyler Barron and Wes Walker, said players are going to have to explain multiple transfers, and that could potentially cost them money at the next level. Yeah, he's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, especially now that it's leaked out why they had to leave. I mean, they were in the locker room complaining or creating complaints for other players about their NIL packages and basically saying you should ask for more.
That's healthy.
All that's out there now. Like Louisville was very candid about what was going on. They clearly were not happy. You know, and they told them both, we don't want you. So
Elijah, we appreciate you joining us, buddy. Have a great evening. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for keeping us up to date on the Georgia Tech game. He said, "Go Big Orange." Absolutely. Zach said he's taking North Carolina tomorrow against LSU. Zach said, thankfully, it didn't end up matter that we weren't the home team because we scored like 30 runs in 3 games. That's true, actually.
33.
Sam said that, the process of deciding home team, he said, is that the NCAA participation trophy for being in the tournament? Basically, yes. Basically. Zach said he likes your opinion. They're just stupid. That's why they made the rules that hard. Yeah. And that was Rebecca's reply. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so convoluted. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why you just can't see it like, okay, they're the higher ranked team. They get to be home. They've earned it.
It sounds really bad when I say that a 10-year-old softball tournament understands rankings and seeding better than the multi-billion-dollar NCAA. That's not a good look.
Mr. Jones said the host team should always be the home team. I agree 100%. Sam said it sounds like something they came up with. Yeah, you've earned it. I agree. To appease Texas or Notre Dame.
It's possible.
Let's see. Zach said sounds like Alabama rules. Mina Laggy. Welcome, Mina Laggy. She said because the NCAA is stupid. Absolutely. Absolutely. Austin. Welcome, Austin. Good to have you, buddy. He said, so because they lost and had the opportunity to be the away team in the losers bracket, we got penalized. You're exactly correct.
Correct.
Absolutely. You're exactly correct. Oh, Ricky. I'm so glad you're with us, Ricky. Ricky said, who are we scared of facing tonight?
You missed that part. Evans already touting Evansville. He's terrified of them. I'm not concerned.
I'm terrified of their mascot.
he ran through their whole roster.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was for me because I was talking about how this was going to be a tough regional, and Ricky said Evansville is so good. Well, I mean, they did beat East Carolina, and then they did beat VCU 17-6. So I mean, they're not terrible, at least. Hang on, I need to pull up that mascot again for Ricky.
Yeah, I think we learned that Evansville is a good hitting team, not the greatest pitching team, and VCU has one dominant pitcher and nobody else.
So this is Ace Purple. We were trying to figure out earlier what Evansville's mascot was. They're the Evansville Purple Aces, and their mascot's name is Ace Purple.
They took a long time to come up with that. It was a very arduous decision-making process.
I'm going to take a screenshot of this and text it to Josh Mancuso and be like, all right, dude, you got
yeah,
it's time. Especially if they beat East Carolina, then it's definitely time.
It's literally writing itself. Like there will never be an easier video than this one right here. Absolutely.
So if anybody doesn't know, tomorrow night, if you're just joining us tomorrow night, Evansville and East Carolina will play. Austin Ireland said it looks like Jack Daniels.
A little bit.
If they play a deciding game tomorrow night, winner take all. So the winner of tomorrow night's game in Greenville, which I do think it's important that first game, especially for Evansville, because I would assume that their pitching depth is way less deep than East Carolina. And so I think it's important that first game, Evansville beat them, because that means that Evansville, this will be their fourth game, and it'll be East Carolina's fifth game.
Yeah.
And the fourth game pitching is very different from the fifth game pitching, but maybe not in this situation if East Carolina has a deeper staff than the Purple Aces of Evansville.
And you would have to think they do, because they're the number 5 pitching staff in the country.
Agreed. Mina Laggy said that Here, I'll put him back up on the screen. I still got him here. There he is. Ace Purple. She said, looks like a loser gambler from a riverboat in the 1970s.
True statement.
Oh, that's my new favorite comment of the whole night right there. That was awesome. That was so good. That's exactly what he is rocking, those pinstripes and the fancy boots. Look at that. He's rocking that, man. I think it's funny that this is a website for like a mascot costume company, making company. So like Olympus Mascots apparently made Ace Purple. So this is them showing their fantastic work that they've done.
Hey, if you were the one responsible for that, you would have it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Okay, Ricky, who are you talking about? And he said the fact that they get another game gives them the edge. Are you talking about East Carolina? I think that's who he's talking about.
So I just went through Evansville's entire pitching staff. They have pretty much pieced together almost every game of this regional. They've only got 2 pitchers who have thrown. So they had a kid throw 6 innings and they had another one throw 8. Nobody else has thrown more than 1 inning. And they got a bunch of guys that have thrown 0.2, 0.1. So technically, other than 2 pitchers, they
got
pretty
everybody.
much got their entire pitching staff available for tomorrow.
You might see Ace Purple out there on the mountain tomorrow.
Possible.
Let's see. Zach said, I think you don't want to see Evansville because it's in your name. I mean, that's cool. It doesn't matter to me. Whoa, Ricky, this is serious right here. He said, I've been on the Evansville riverboat. It's a real thing. That's what I'm talking about.
So Ace Purple is a riverboat gambler.
He is a riverboat gambler, man. Mina Lackey nailed it, dude. She nailed it. This may be the best part of the Vault Bros ever on any episode we've ever had. The history of the Evansville riverboat. That's what I'm talking about. That is fantastic. It's deep cut stuff on the Vol Bros you get with us guys. Deep cut stuff. Mr. Jones said, purple ain't got nothing on Big Orange. And Ricky said the fact that, I agree with this. He said the fact that both Evansville and East Carolina both have to play another game on Monday gives them one less day of rest before Friday against us. And he's exactly right. The fact that we got out of there, we get, 5 days rest between now and Friday. That helps us. That is certainly a helpful thing. Saving those arms. Mr. Jones said, is that Hunter Inslee?
It's pretty close.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Oh, my goodness.
Pretty close.
That is amazing. He's got the mustache. He's rocking that mustache. That is awesome. Zach, yep, we did see Smokey there tonight. That was cool. Sam said Ace Purple is a LSU reject. It does kind of look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mina, like you said, I love history. She said he was caught cheating and was pitched over into the sweet by and by. And then Evansville adopted him as their mascot. That's what happened. Ricky said, my brother-in-law's family lives in Evansville. Man, this is like getting serious. This is like deep stuff here. Ricky said, I meant Evansville or ECU wins over us because, he was making fun of me. Okay, I got you. Because they get an extra game. No, dude, come on now. If Evansville comes to Knoxville, I say Tennessee goes 2-0.
Game deal.
Yeah, Tennessee goes 2-0 and walks out of there on Saturday. If East Carolina comes to Knoxville, I'd say Tennessee wins in 3 games, 2-1.
I still say 2. I think it'll be 2 closer games, but I still say 2.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much, I guess. Zach said, forget it, we're going to Omaha. I sincerely hope that Ace Purple ends up in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. I sincerely hope. Ricky said they went on a failed 2-point conversion. I sincerely hope Ace Purple, please, if you are at the Super Regional and Ace Purple is in the stadium, I'm begging you, please take a photo and tweet it so we can reshare it. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Mino Aggie said, going to Omaha on a riverboat. There you go. Zach said, we're going 2-0 next weekend for either team that shows up. Oh, man, this is fun. Well, to the 539 people watching right now, we got 3 different platforms going. 513 folks on X, 24 on YouTube, and 2 on Facebook. We appreciate all you all very, very much. Mr. Jones said Barney is going down. The purple there. I like that. That's good. We will see. Maybe we will be so fortunate as to have Ace Purple grace the stands of Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
He can't afford the ticket.
Yeah, for real. For real. Definitely, the good news that coming out tonight is Tennessee gets to host a super regional. That's a big, big deal. That's a big deal. Just to give everybody one last update before we sign off here. Kentucky's win has gone final. They've now beat Indiana State, which means they've advanced to a super regional. There are 6 games still playing. Texas A&M has now extended their lead even more. They've scored another run, so now they're up 7-1. Oklahoma State is still holding to a 2-1 lead over Florida. West Virginia is now winning 7-3 over Grand Canyon in the 4th inning. Oregon has scored another run, so now they're up 2-0 in the 6th over UC Santa Barbara. That is a situation where Oregon is in the driver's seat. Santa Barbara has to beat them twice.
Yep.
UConn and Oklahoma are still tied in the bottom of the 4th, 3-3. And Oregon State is still holding a 1-run lead over UC Irvine. Let's see. Zach said, good night. Need the rest. See you soon, bros. Absolutely. Hey, good to see you, Zach. We're glad you're here, man. Ricky said Chase Burns just transferred to the Purple Aces. I'm scared. Dude, how awesome would that be if he comes walking out onto the field in the Ace Purple costume that was made by Olympus Mascots, and he comes out on the field and then takes the hat off and he's Ace Purple. That would be amazing. That would be really, really good. Oh, West Virginia just scored again. So now they're up 8-3. In the top of the 4th. They must be having a pretty good little 4th inning there.
Yep.
Well, this has been fun. To the 538 people with us, y'all are awesome. Seriously. 539. Somebody just joined us, so we're glad you're with us too. So we got 500, 516 folks on X, 21 on YouTube, and 2 on Facebook. So those 539 people, we really do appreciate you. I hope you join us Thursday night because we have an important show Thursday. We'll know by then who we're playing. Everybody, keep your eyes peeled for Greenville tomorrow. Tomorrow night, East Carolina and Evansville in a winner-take-all game. The winner of that game will be coming to Knoxville on Friday, and you really got to like Tennessee set up because, if you'll recall Thursday night when we were talking about this weekend, we said we hope we're going live Sunday night, and Tennessee has played 3 games and won the regional. They've gone 3-0 and won it, and that is exactly what happened. That is the best case scenario for Tennessee because now all of their arms are going to be totally fresh for that weekend series next weekend in the Super Regional. You'll have Stamos and Kazi going Friday, Drew Beam going Saturday, and like you said, we were soothsayers. There you go. And Sunday you'll have Xander Seacrest and Nate Snead. So this is the perfect situation for Tennessee that they wanted to be in coming out of this regional. So you can't help but like what's going on in Knoxville right now for the baseballs.
You're making an assumption we may be playing Thursday. Some of the super regionals are Thursday through Saturday for TV purposes.
Oh,
They
well,
have
there you
to,
go.
in order to script out all the different stations, some of them have to be Thursday through Saturday and some are Friday through Sunday. Which again, the fact that Evansville and East Carolina are having to play on Monday, if we end up being a Thursday super regional, that definitely plays to our advantage because they're going to play Monday night, get up Tuesday morning, drive to wherever they're going, take batting practice on Wednesday, and play on Thursday. Whereas we get to sleep in our own beds, we get to take our time, go to practice every day. That's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think that the teams that do have to play a Monday night game, that they'll probably definitely make those some of the Friday games. But I mean, it's the NCAA; they do stupid things sometimes. So
It's supposed to be predetermined, and they don't tell them which ones have been predetermined um, to be the Thursday through Saturday. They unveil it when they kind of tell everybody when they're playing. So technically, they actually already should have that listed, not publicly, but internally. And it's just luck of the draw if you end up having to play on Monday.
Mr. Jones said they may be aces, but we're playing baseball, not cards. Well played, sir. Well played. Nice. Well, so I guess we'll know for sure on Tuesday because they said that's when they're announcing them.
Yeah.
Like all of America will know on Tuesday who the host sites, all of them are, and because let's be honest, there's going to be some folks in a similar situation that we were in last year with Southern Miss, where you had two non-host schools, two non-top 16 seed teams win their regionals, and then it was like, okay, well, where are we going to play the Super? Because I mean, Oregon is still a 2-0 lead on UC Santa Barbara. West Virginia, which Oregon was a 3 seed, West Virginia is about to win that regional. They're a 3 seed. If UConn beats Oklahoma, they're a 3 seed. They've advanced. I mean, like Florida just took a 4-2 lead on Oklahoma State. They're in the top of the 6th. Florida has to beat Oklahoma State twice, so that would be a tomorrow night game if they've advanced. Who else has advanced? That let's see, Kansas State. They're a 3 seed. They've advanced. So I mean, just after tonight, you're looking at Kansas State, West Virginia, and UConn and Oregon. If all 4 of those teams, one of them already has won, if the other 3 win, that is 4 3 seeds that advanced out of the regionals.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible, actually. I wonder how many times that's ever happened, that 4 3 seeds advanced out of the regionals, especially on Sunday and not the extra game, if necessary game. Because that means they just went straight through the winners bracket and never lost.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if that's ever happened. Have 4 3 seeds never lose in a regional in the same year. That'd be fascinating. Well, this has been fun. We appreciate everybody joining us. Mr. Jones said Vandy and Bama are eliminated. They sure are. So we'll all keep our eyes peeled on the rest of these games, especially tomorrow night in Greenville. We hope all of you have a wonderful evening. It's a great day to be a Vol. Vol's set to host the Super Regionals of the winter tomorrow night between Evansville Purple Aces with their awesome mascot Ace Purple and East Carolina. I couldn't even think of their playing for a second. The host team in that region. So very excited to see that game tomorrow night and see who's coming to Knoxville. But we do appreciate all y'all joining us. We have 540 people watching right now on the 3 different platforms combined. So we do appreciate all of you. Like you said, they'll be watching the Purple Goobers tomorrow night, which really both teams were purple. So that it works for both of them. So, but we appreciate all of you joining us. We hope all of you have a wonderful evening and go Vols, baby.